So this is a kind of how to play for Funkoverse. I'm going to go over very, very bare bones, enough to get you caught kind of the speed for my playthrough, and then my playthrough kind of goes through some of the other stuff. And if you have any questions, you can always ask down below, and I'll do my best to respond to them. All right, so this is not the board that I'm going to show you the scenario for, but typically you will pick a scenario for the map you want to choose. This is the one that I will be doing in my first playthrough, so it's called Leaders. It shows a starting area based on colored base for everyone else, and then your leaders, and then where to put the point cubes or the point markers. Here's the setup, how to gain points, and how to win. The other side has one for the other side of the map that this one is on. You then also are going to have your team. The color base denotes which team they're on. So Jack here is on the white team. Oogie Boogie is on the black team. You'll have their cards. Their cards have these little colors in the bottom corner. You're going to grab that many tokens. I only grabbed enough to illustrate. I didn't grab all of the ones. Oogie Boogie would start with a gray and a yellow. Jack would start with a blue and a yellow. You flip the little thing to determine who goes first, and then they start their actions. You have 2 to 3 people on each team. On your turn, first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose a character who is not already gone, so who's not exhausted. You're then going to do 2 actions. You get to choose between a basic action and or a special action. So you can do 2 basics, 2 specials, a basic and a special, so forth. The basic actions, as I'll be listing right here, you'll see these coming up. Your basic actions are move. Move up to 2 squares in any direction. You'll see there's a grid, so 1, 2. There are certain rules governing movement. Those are all covered in the book. But suffice it to say, usually when there is a dark line, you can't move through it, and you have to sometimes move around it. Like here, I obviously can't go diagonal to there because it's too full. All right, you can move. You can do a challenge. The challenge is if you are adjacent to an enemy, which is any of the 8 squares around them, you can do a challenge 2, which means you roll 2 dice against their armor. Their armor is shown down here in this little shield. Oogie Boogie's is 2. So Jack would roll, Oogie Boogie would roll. You then compare them. For the attacking, each little burst here is 1 hit. Exclamations are 3 hits. For the defender, a shield is 1 defense. The exclamation is 3 defense. So in this instance, he would defend because this would cancel that, and there is no hits. That's your challenge. You can assist. If an ally is laying down, you can stand them up. Or you can interact. So those point tokens I was talking about, you can interact with those to gain a point. Certain other maps may have other things you can interact with. Or you can do special actions, which is an ability or an item. So let's look at Oogie Boogie's card here. He's got 3 abilities listed here. I Don't Play Fair, Gambling Boogeyman, Snake and Spider Stew. These little bursts next to it means it's going to be a challenge, so an attack. So what's going to happen is if I do I Don't Play Fair, I'm going to find that token, hopefully I have it available. It's going to go on spot 4, and then I'm going to do the ability, which would be a challenge 4. You roll his boogie dice, which I don't have out here, and then you do the thing. If I did the Gambling Boogeyman instead, I'd grab the yellow and place it on the 2. Or you can use an item. So say Oogie Boogie had the shovel. He would actually have a little shovel token that would go into his hand, so he'd be walking around with a shovel. This shows a number here and an ability. So if you do the shovel, again, burst means it's going to be an attack. 3, you do its ability, challenge 4, and then this goes on to 3 on the cooldown track. That is the item. However, if you start your character's turn laying down, instead of being able to do any of those actions, the only thing you can do is rally, which is you use both of your actions to stand up, and then your turn's over. Once you have either done your 2 actions or rallied, that player is exhausted, goes to the next player's turn. You go back and forth till all ones are exhausted, and then you do the end of round stuff, which is the cooldown. You analyze this track, everything shifts down 1. If anything's on 1, it comes off. You then refresh all of your players so they are no longer exhausted, and then the first player goes to the opposite one. So in essence, In the first round, whoever goes second is going to take 2 turns in a row by taking the last and then the first. If a character gets knocked out, they go to number 1 on the cooldown track. If they're there and it's their turn, all they happen is they become exhausted. When you do the cooldown step and they come off the board, you would then put them in the designated starting area to start all anew. The main reason you're doing all of this is to get points. Here are examples of the points tokens. They vary in colors based on the different set. And that is the basics you need to know. As I said, this is a kind of how to play. If you want a more detailed example, there is a plethora of videos out there. I know Watch It Played has done a rules video. Rules Girl has done a video. And you can probably find others out there. You also can watch my playthrough and see a lot of this in action if that helps you more. Again, any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I will do my best to answer them. The other place you can go is the rule books. This is the Universal Monsters ones, but they all have the basic same stuff, where they have detailed instructions on obstructions, what your character can see, what's considered adjacency, how you can move, how to do challenges, knocking out a target, and then the full experience. So these are really good and detailed rule books, attachments, and a whole glossary and FAQ for the designated set. All right, hope you do check out my playthrough. These are 2 of the characters you'll see. Not on this map, however. This may even be an item you see. All right, thank you for watching. Hope you learned.